Orochimaru confidently states,
"You spout nonsense."
oh wait, hold on, that's not his voice. You spout nonsense. You're merely 1 liter in a long line, mini. This is episode 79.
Beyond the limit of darkness and light!
To start us off, I want to point out how dirty the anime did Gamabunta. Gamabunta is way more comparable to Shukaku's size in the manga than he is in the anime. With that aside, the episode recaps us with Naruto transforming Gamabunta into Kurama, but this time, we're shown this super cool close-up of Naruto that leads into the title scene. I really wish we got more shots like this during intense moments. If I'm remembering correctly, Studio Pierrot abandoned the graphic frames not too long after this. After the recap, Gamabunta charges at Shukaku while evading a volley of wind attacks. A neat contrast I noticed his last episode showed us our heroes getting rained on after Shukaku and Gamabunta's bullets clash, whereas this episode shows us the gang barely holding on after getting hit by the remnants of Shukaku's wind bullet. Well, Sakura doesn't struggle at all, she's just chilling. Gamabunta attempts to close the gap on Shukaku but gets tail slapped away. The crazy thing is, Gamabunta takes it to the chin and immediately charges Gaara. Now, I have no way to actually scale how hard Shukaku can swing, but considering how much those two must weigh on top of the distance Shukaku sent Gamabunta, there must have been some serious force behind that swipe. After Gamabunta charges in, he attempts to latch on to Shukaku, but Shukaku easily weaves, then counters with another wind bullet, of which Gamabunta evades. The bullet continues on and hits a mountain range in the near distance and easily breaks chunks of rock off of it. To prevent the audience from shrugging that off, we're shown these reactions.
Boys, they're not messing around.
It's not safe here anymore.
That's when Gamabunta remarks that their current plan is a bust since Gaara's power is continuously rising. Realizing that a head-on assault was a lost cause, Gamabunta uses one of his tails to yoink a bundle of trees out of the ground, then dashes towards Shukaku, followed by the two hitting 180s. Now that his trap card was laid, Gamabunta leaps into the air, baiting Shukaku to use his air bullet. Like your mother seeing a bout of chicken, Shukaku couldn't resist and fired a singular air bullet just like Gamabunta predicted. Now, that similar part is very important. Since Shukaku only shot one air bullet, Gamabunta was able to block it with the tree, then close the gap on Shukaku. If Shukaku shot at least one more air bullet, Gamabunta would have gotten air fried. But because he didn't, Gamabunta successfully latched on to Shukaku. Now that he had an opening, Naruto undoes the transformation jutsu, then jumps like 100 feet into the air to deliver the meanest flying punch of jutsus we've seen thus far. Gamabunta then notes,
Good. Not much time has passed since the meteor went under. That'd have done the trick.
Which is shown to be accurate since Shukaku immediately becomes suppressed. This altercation is completely different in the manga. As such, there are different interpretations that can be made. In the manga, Gamabunta immediately blitzes Shukaku after transforming and latches onto him. It's worth noting that while Gamabunta looks like Kurama, he only has one tail in the manga, while in the anime he has all 9. After Gamabunta latches on, that's when Sasuke is surprised by the sight of a fox. After Naruto sees his green light, he emerges and springs out towards Gaara. The manga's flying punch of justice is way less dramatic since he does a regular leap towards Gaara. I guess Studio Pierrot felt like going over the top. Before proceeding, I have one last juxtaposition. Manga Gamabunta questions why Gaara is still so strong after Shukaku has been suppressed. I like this iteration better than the anime's dialogue because it makes sense for Gamabunta to be frustrated that their win-con seemingly failed. After all, one would logically conclude that Gaara would weaken after Shukaku's presence has resided, since his presence is what made Gaara stronger to begin with. Anime Gamabunta says this.
We may have released the jutsu, but this guy's still got some fight left.
Which doesn't really have the same feel to it. It sorta makes Gaara feel like less of a threat since Gamabunta doesn't seem too pressed about it. If you're perceptive, you also notice anime Gamabunta warned Naruto that Gaara wasn't weakened, while manga Gamabunta kept to himself. Personally, I like that change since Gamabunta panicking out loud could lower Naruto's morale, while the more laid-back Gamabunta warning Naruto not to let his guard down is completely valid. Returning to the anime, Gaara wakes up and Naruto attempts to blitz him to finish the job. Gaara easily catches him though, since Naruto is standing on Mount Shukaku. With Naruto now helpless, he commands his Saiyan to encase Naruto so he could finish him off with his Saiyan Coffin Jutsu. Acting quickly, Gamabunta surrounds Naruto with his tongue, delaying Gaara's attack by a measly 1 second, because without missing a beat, Gaara instantly starts elevating the sand around Naruto's feet to encase him, which begs the question, why didn't Gaara just start off with that? I mean, he literally caught Naruto using that tactic, so he started using that tactic, then decided to just switch it up for no reason, I guess, but whatever. Anyway, seeing that he's cooked, Gamabunta retracts his tongue and says, "Damn, unlucky, I guess." At this point, he's likely thinking about canceling the summoning jutsu and calling it a day. We're gonna have to put that theory on hold though, because we're transported back to the tournament arena to see Guy and Kakashi still playing with fathers. It's a good thing these two are distracted instead of doing literally anything else, much like someone else I know.
Something's wrong. It's unheard of for two shinobi to last this long. What the hell is going on in there?
So there's two things from that clip that intrigues me and one thing that annoys the hell out of me. My first intrigue is that it's unheard of for two shinobis to fight for that long. The anime is rather vague time-wise since long can mean anything. Luckily for us, we're analyzing the manga alongside the anime, which gives us a better perspective. The manga tells us it's virtually unheard of for shinobi to battle each other for an hour. From that, we can speculate a few things. The first being the Anbu Captain statement could mean that battles don't last that long because usually the victor is decided long before that point. Another interpretation is shinobi simply don't have enough stamina to last that long in battle. While both are plausible, I'm more in favor of the latter, since two equally skilled shinobi that continuously counter each other's moves would draw out the fight. However, one of them would begin to fall behind the other eventually due to the lack of chakra, meaning they wouldn't be able to continue to use their jutsu or amplify their speed to keep up with their opponent. My interpretation is backed up later on in this episode, so I'll point it out later. The second thing that I wanted to comment on is what in the hell is going on with this dude's mask? His eye holes are so small compared to the captain's that there's no way his vision isn't heavily impaired. Finally, the annoyance. Why? Oh why, oh why, oh why are there 3 Anbu members sitting on this rooftop doing absolutely nothing? They can't even see the fight or sense anything, which means they've been AFK for about an hour while the village is getting destroyed. Do something! Imagine if these guys were in the tournament arena fighting off the fathers while Kakashi and Guy were able to make use of their talents elsewhere. In fact, as I said 10 or so episodes ago, the Anbu blackout should have never stopped Kakashi and Guy from assisting Hiruzen. If Kakashi and Guy took off at full speed, they would have gotten to Hiruzen faster and actually made a difference. The fact that 3 of Konoha's top ninja have been spectating this entire time is insane.
He still has my arms. Can't use any jutsu.
Yep, it's been that way for probably 30 plus minutes. Which means the purpose of this line is to remind us, the viewer, that the reason Orochimaru isn't using any jutsu is because he can't. But that is immediately contradicted a few seconds later when Orochimaru uses his hand to control the blade. If that's not a jutsu, then what is it? Maybe it's such a low tier jutsu where he just mastered it so he doesn't need hand signs anymore. But if that's the case, you're telling me Orochimaru, the man who wanted to learn all the jutsu and found new ones, doesn't have a single jutsu that doesn't require his arms? That's a bit of a stretch if you ask me. After realizing Hiruzen isn't killing over, Orochimaru attempts to break Hiruzen's will by telling him how Konoha is currently being ravaged by his men. Hiruzen doesn't say anything in response though. He just stares at Orochimaru while probably thinking, damn, that's tough, buddy. That's when we're shown some sand ninja inside of Konoha.
Why are we meeting with so little resistance around here? We're standing in the heart of the Hidden Leaf Village. And another thing, we've been here for a while now. How come we haven't seen a single woman or child yet?
Which, holy, that means Konoha's response time is insanely fast. They got attacked and immediately evacuated all the women and children to the emergency bunkers. The captain didn't mention anything about seeing civilian men, so... We're then taken to Iruka nervously guarding his students inside one of the bunkers when Konohamaru and friends approach Iruka and tell him they have to pee. Iruka says,
"We're in the middle of a crisis here. Do you have any idea what's at stake if they find us?"
But Konohamaru persists, so Iruka agrees to take them to the bathroom. However, Konohamaru isn't able to hold it anymore, so he dashes off to the bathroom when he runs into some mysterious people. In usual anime fashion, we're left on a cliffhanger and taken back to the tournament arena to see the Konoha Jonin body the enemy Shinobi. That's when the gang lines up for the photo op, and I can't help but notice whoever drew this scene is biased. Run that back. Notice anything odd? My guy is squeaky clean. No blood, no dirt marks, nothing. It's not like my guy was clean in the manga either, so this choice was deliberate. With that aside, a bird that I doubt anyone remembers makes an appearance. The first time we saw this bird was in episode 20 as a child. I'm just thinking y'all chains. We did see a similar bird being used in episode 20 though. I believe the one in episode 20 had white marks on his wings to signal the beginning of the Chunin exams. The bird being used here is to signal the Konoha Shinobi it's time to counterattack. Before the counterattack begins, we're shown this.
Hayate, I will avenge your death. I promise.
For those who don't remember, this was Hayate. Now, there's no way in hell Hiruzen saw this bird to know that his people actually weren't being ravaged, but he didn't need to, because he fully believes in the strength of his people.
For all your cunning, you still don't get it, do you, Orochimaru? Do not underestimate the shinobi of this village.
After that, we're shown the people Konohamaru ran into were actually the last batch of women being brought to safety. But wait, how is that possible? Konohamaru was shivering out of his mind and even fell to the ground. When the individuals step forward, the color scheme is completely off. Studio Pierrot sacrificed the story for a cheap surprise. Unlucky. Returning to the episode, Anko and Iruka explain Konoha's contingency plan against invasion, which is pretty much Phase 1, stop the invasion. If that fails, Phase 2 is moving all of the women and children to safety. Phase 3 is neutralize the enemy. It's a simple plan to be honest, but let's be real. What more do you need? We don't get to see much of the neutralizing just yet though, since we return to Naruto and Gaara's showdown. We see Naruto look back at Sakura to see Gaara's grip tightening on her once again. It's honestly incredible she hasn't been crushed yet. It reminds me of Frieza's "the planet will be destroyed in 5 minutes" malarkey. Anyway, just like the previous times Naruto saw Sakura in danger, he remembers this.
You have to save Sakura, if it's the last thing you do.
After that, Naruto calls upon Kurama and asks for just enough chakra to get the job done. Kurama grants his wish and Naruto starts to power up to the tune of Those Who Inherit the Will of Fire OST. The song continues to play as we're shown Konoha's elite forces mopping up the enemy. Before I continue, I just want to say, I noticed one major change in Hiyashi's dialogue.
The Leaf Village's spirit is strong. You do well to remember.
Now, that's very interesting, because in the manga he said, Hyuga is the most powerful clan in Konoha. Remember it well. I guess Studio Pierrot with the power of hindsight figured, yeah, we better change that. Kishimoto did not hold to that promise, they are trash. To continue with the action, we get to see Shikamaru's dad, Shukaku, Shoji's dad, Shoza, and Ino's dad, Inochi, all fighting together as they reminisce about the old days of being Ino Chikacho. If you didn't know, their clans have a long history of working together, which is why their kids, Ino, Choji, and Shikamaru, are all in the same squad together and follow a similar name scheme. After that action, we briefly cut back to Orochimaru and Hiruzen. Hiruzen finally responds to the statement Orochimaru made earlier, telling him that true strength doesn't arise from home ninjutsu. but rather when he or she is defending those precious to him or her. It's now time for the battle between light and dark to conclude. With a fiery aura of Kurama, Naruto leaps at Gaara, attempting to punch him, only to be caught by Gaara's sand. However, there's far too much chakra flowing through Naruto's veins to be properly restrained, allowing him to deliver an almighty headbutt to Gaara. The headbutt deals enough damage to break Gaara's concentration on his Shukaku body, causing both he and Naruto to fall out of the sky. Gamabunta remarks that while Naruto isn't the most skillful fighter, he can do it all day. He then says,
Wish I could stick around to see how this ends, but I've reached my limit too.
Then he and his son skedaddle by undoing the summoning jutsu. A great gust of wind was generated by Gamabunta's withdrawal, which pushed Gaara and Naruto into some nearby trees. Bloodied, Naruto and Gaara sit up to face each other. With the edge of Gamabunta's blade between them, the two look at each other, while breathing heavily, with the sword reminding us that he and Naruto are two sides of the same coin. That's exactly what Naruto tells Gaara after he tells him that unlike the last 3 times, he's actually out of chakra this time. Maybe. Before concluding their fight, we return to Hiruzen and Orochimaru for the last time. Knowing he's on his last leg, Hiruzen tells Orochimaru that pulling his whole soul out is impossible. So instead of doing that, he's going to make Orochimaru pay for his transgressions. As such, Hiruzen ended the Reaper Death Seal early, deciding to only take Orochimaru's arms versus his whole body. With his arms sealed, Orochimaru is now incapable of casting any jutsu that requires hand signs to mold the chakra, which is pretty much all of them. Since the Reaper Death Seal has finally concluded, the same seal on Naruto's stomach appears on Hiruzen's. Distraught and left with no other option, Orochimaru lashes out against his former sensei one last time.
You feeble old man! Give me back my arms!
Unfazed, Hiruzen tells Orochimaru it's GG. Orochimaru tries to yell at Hiruzen some more, but he's unable to hear anything. The last thing Hiruzen sees before he dies is his former student hunched over and seething like a monster, before slowly turning into the soft student that he once loved dearly. With Hiruzen v Orochimaru concluded, Naruto and Gaara initiate their final flash. Wrong anime. Gaara and Naruto initiate their final clash, which ends exactly how everyone expected. Let's just pause the story here for a second. Dude, in what universe does Gaara ever beat Naruto in a hand-to-hand jousting match? Gaara has probably never even thrown a punch before. I guarantee you this is his first time throwing a punch. Who's... I'm not gonna lie, he probably wasn't even close to hitting Naruto. Naruto didn't even have to dodge anything. Gaara just did the pleasures himself. Alright, let's rewind that though. While the two were in the air preparing to clash, Hiruzen can be heard speaking his final words.
Where the tree leaves dance, one shall find flames. The fire's shadow will illuminate the village.
As I noted earlier, the triumphant song playing was called Those Who Inherit the Will of Fire. In fact, I'll play it now. In order to truly grasp Hiruzen's quote, we'll need to go back a few episodes to episode 72. Orochimaru tells Hiruzen that the Leaf Village will fall, and Hiruzen replies with,
You're forgetting that the Leaf Village is my home, and as Hokage, I am entrusted with my home's protection. I am head of the household, the central pillar.
Some time passes, and Hiruzen is getting bodied while trapped in the second Hokage's Darkness Jutsu. The Hokage OST begins to play as Orochimaru and Hiruzen exchange dialogue. Orochimaru confidently states,
You spout nonsense.
oh wait, hold on, that's not his voice. You spout nonsense. You're merely one leader in a long line, many for one lowly organization. Even your mountainside image will eventually wear away and be obliterated. Hiruzen adamantly replies, The village of Konoha is not just an organization to me. We're then shown a series of flashbacks that follow Hiruzen and his legacy as he ages. Before he became Hokage, he led a team of his own. His team consisted of Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and who's that? Don't know, but considering Orochimaru and Jiraiya are there, alongside a blonde-haired girl, just like in the intro, it's bound to be her. After leading a team of his own, Hiruzen becomes Hokage. Some years go by, and now Jiraiya has a team of his own. Orochimaru never led a team of his own, but he did have Anko. I'm gonna let Anime Hiruzen finish the speech now.
These people are precious to me. We share a home. We share a life. And though we may not share ties of blood, they are precious to me. They are my family.
Straight PK fire. But we're not finished yet. Before moving on though, did you guys pick up on that special word Hiruzen said?
They are precious to me.
Remember what Haku said about having those precious to you?
The pillar of your village. A pillar full of termites and rot. I don't have to knock you down. You're already falling.
That was a pretty clever response from Orochimaru, at least from his perspective. He believes Hiruzen to be saying that he, Hiruzen Sarutobi, is the pillar of the village because he's been around for so long. The flashback literally shows him with the first and second Hokage, so without a doubt, everyone in the village knows him, so it's understandable to think that's what Hiruzen meant. However, Hiruzen corrects Orochimaru by saying,
And if I do fall, you still will fail. I am only one of a long line. I carry this title in trust for those Hokage who came before and those who will come after. I am the third Hokage. You can't stop it by destroying me. A new and stronger Hokage will take my place, becoming the pillar, roof, and walls that defend the village.
So now that that whole escapade is over, you should have a greater perspective on Konoha's triumph. It was just as Hiruzen said, he is not the sole pillar, nor is he the sole protector of the village. The next generation of shinobi will fight and die for the sake of the village. Hiruzen's final line also heavily foreshadowed Naruto becoming the Hokage. He says, "The fire shadow will illuminate the village, and once again, tree leaves shall bud anew," while showing Naruto delivering the finishing blow to Gaara. Naruto's goal is to become Hokage, and Ho means fire while Kage means shadow. After delivering the Justice Punch onto Gaara's face, he and Gaara fell to the ground and are unable to move. Hiruzen simultaneously falls to the ground with a smile on his face before his fire is extinguished. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. It truly means a lot to me. Just like Naruto, I want to become Hokage someday, so I hope to see you all in the next video. Deuces.